This is live on KEXP at home. I'm Kevin Cole, and joining me for today's session, Georgia, who has an amazing album, Seeking Thrills, that came out in 2020. We'll talk about that. Welcome, Georgia. How you doing?
I'm very good, thanks, Kevin. Thank you for having me.
It is great having you. Very excited. And could you tell me where you are now?
Yeah, sure. I'm in London. I'm based in London. That's where I've been all my life. Kind of boring. I've never really moved away from London, but yeah, I'm currently in a flat in London.
And the session that viewers are going to see right now, where did you record? Where did you record it?
So I recorded this session actually in my studio. So that space that you're seeing is where I came up with all the demos for Seeking Thrills, and it's my home studio. It's where I do all my work, and it was really fun. We've never really done anything like that. Turned it into a kind of live setting, and I'm really glad that we did it because it was kind of an experiment, and we learned a lot as we were doing it. So yeah, and it's cool because I've got all my synthesizers and everything's kind of set up. So it was kind of easy.
It looks amazing. Thanks for doing that. The quality is incredible. It looked like just a musical cocoon.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of how I like my studios to be. I'm kind of one of those people that likes to walk into a studio and there'd be lots of equipment around, and but everything kind of works and is plugging in, and I get really I kind of get a bit put off by going into studios with nothing but just a computer. So I'm sort of, yeah, that's how kind of I've set my studio up, really.
Very cool. Well, we'll talk about that more. We'll talk about the album Seeking Thrills, but let's check out some of the performance, starting out with the lead track from Seeking Thrills, which is called Started Out. Anything you want to say about that?
Well, it was just like one of those this whole record was kind of really inspired by house music, particularly Chicago house music from the 80s, and Started Out was kind of my homage to those sounds. So it feels great to be able to play it on American radio. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
Here it is. It Started Out. This is Georgia, live on KEXP at home.
Don't be going off the rails now, kick down the heartache. 'Cause when we started, we are wicked young fools who behave now, back in the arms of somebody who saved us. We are wicked young fools who behave now, back in the arms of somebody who saved us. We are wicked young fools who behave now, back in the arms of somebody who saved us. We are wicked and bold, we are wicked and bold, we are wicked and bold. Young fools who behave now, back in the arms of somebody who saved us. We are wicked young fools who behave now, back in the arms of somebody who saved us. We are wicked young fools who behave now, back in the arms of somebody who saved us. We are wicked and bold, we are wicked and bold. You are wicked and bold, you are wicked and bold now. Be wicked and bold, be wicked and bold now. Come on, let's go.
Right now, I know two hearts never be the same.
Right now, I know. Talk about the party people.
Talk about the party people.
dawn. Oh, you sound like consumed by night. This is where we begin. Do our ever be the same? We could be it, we could be it, we could be it. In a world that's not the same. We could be it, we could be it, we could be it. 24 hours ago, I felt my heart taken. Finally, it happened to me. Now this feeling is awakened. On a crowded floor, darkness at dawn. Oh, you sound like consumed by night. Now that I let you in, this is where we begin. Do our ever be the same? We could be it, we could be it, we could be it. In a world that's not the same. We could be it, we could be it, we could be it.
Right now, I know. Talking about the party people. Talking about the party people.
It's the rhythm, rhythm, rhythm. It's your rhythm, rhythm, rhythm. It's the rhythm, rhythm, rhythms. It's your rhythm. If your hearts ever beat the same, no.
It's Georgia Live on KEXP at home, covering Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill. Man, what an amazing version of that song.
Yeah, it was, I know. It's such an amazing song. Yeah, I think it's one of the greatest pop songs ever written, really.
Was it intimidating to take that on?
Yeah, of course. I mean, the way the cover came about is that we wanted to play a cover live, and I came across this kind of Ashley Beadle 12-inch, who's an English DJ, of Running Up That Hill, and it was a kind of like this dance mix, and so we thought, oh, this could work within the set. And as we kind of progressed and played it in the set, the crowds just got, instantly knew it. As soon as you hear that boom, 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 it's like the crowds are just like, oh my gosh, And so it was fine doing it live, and then taking it into the studio was a whole different ball game. And it was really, because there's so many intricate layers to Running Up That Hill, but very simple because everything's been so thought out, and she's really been disciplined with what goes into the mix. So you can't really throw everything at the mix. So it was a fine balancing act. But I just wanted to pay a lot of respect to it and not do something totally crazy. So it was quite a challenge. Yeah.
Man, you succeeded. It's such a great version of the song. And what a powerful, powerful song. Right before that, 2 tracks from your new album, Seeking Thrills, 24 Hours and Started Out. Now, the album came out January 10th, 2020. So new year, new album. You had to have been really pumped up, right?
Yeah, fired up. And then the pandemic hit. Yeah.
Yeah, and man, and the way that hit, nobody knew exactly what was going to go on. So it seemed like we had these delayed reactions to everything, to what became probably the weirdest year ever. But how did you cope?
Yeah, I think it was really hard. Like as you said, there was so much behind the record, and we did really well because the record, the record came out 2 months before the pandemic, for a national lockdown. So we actually had 2 months of kind of like full on promotion and like
momentum building.
Yeah, exactly. The thing that was devastating was the live shows, because I'd gone on tour for about a year previously to putting out Seeking Thrills, and we'd put up so much sort of the backbone and the work, and then suddenly to have the live show get to this place, and like audience was, they were wanting to come and see it, and then suddenly that kind of going was quite hard, and obviously really devastating. But Seeking Thrills has had a place in lockdown. Actually, I've had so many fans send in videos of turning their kitchens into dance floors, and I think dance pop music has had a real place within this period. It's kind of escapism, and it's feeling euphoric in a time where that sort of stuff is really hard. So Seeking Thrills, I think, has had it's had its place, really, which I'm really pleased about.
I'm glad you feel that, because I can tell you firsthand, DJing drive time and afternoon show here, the first couple months of the pandemic, there was a lot of confusion, and we program in real time, and we're trying to sense the vibe of the world and channel that energy. And your record, Seeking Thrills, became a real go-to record for me and for listeners, because there's such a positive, uplifting vibe. And at a certain point in the pandemic, people needed to feel good, needed a connection, and your record's got a pop radio quality to it, but it also has a dance quality, which is hard to do. Not many, people can have a radio record and make it kind of a dance hit. And man, it's just so good. And we'd get so much feedback from listeners.
Oh, that's so great to hear, because, part of the reason why I wanted to become a musician, become an artist, was to make people feel positive and feel like they could listen to my music and go to that wonderful place that makes them feel happy, or to a dark place where they need to confront those sort of emotions. That's why I do this job, is because to hear comments like that. So that really does mean the world, really does.
And it's amazing to see you do that live. To connect, as basically the times I've seen you, Iceland and Eurosonic, you're playing behind a drum kit and keyboards around you, but you're up on stage alone, but you're really connecting with the audience in such a great way. You can feel that it's, I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but it's in part about the audience as well. 100%.
I mean, it's taken me quite a long time to find my place on stage. I've been playing live music since I was 16, 17, and I've gone through various sort of stages of how do I want to be as a performer. And I suppose I wouldn't ask for it any other way, because it's all about developing in my eyes, and it's all about changing and switching it up. But for this record, we really wanted to create a show which was exciting for the audience. It wasn't so much about, I don't know, about me being a sort of spectacle or having this, and it was about me connecting with the audience. And I think, that's one of the things that I love about dance music and what I love about good DJs is that you go there and, okay, the DJ's up there and you're like, but they're also curating this wonderful night of music for you to kind of experience a sort of time of your life. So I wanted to kind of take that and put that into my live show. And I felt like we really were getting there with it all. And yeah, I'm glad that you felt that, because it was really intentional, that. And, I think there is a sort of there's a sort of survival quality to me being up there alone, which I sort of love. I love live shows which are slightly on the edge of chaos, like when I went to see Prince, or when I went to see sort of the White Stripes, or like it's almost like on the edge of chaos, and that keeps the audience's attention. And I sort of like being up there on my own, because it feels like it could all go wrong at any point. Actually, my good friend Wayne Coyne from the Flaming Lips, he came to see me at South by Southwest, and it was when I was just sort of launching this new live set of me by myself. And Wayne was he was so side of stage. He was just ready to jump on at any point to kind of help me out, because I think he felt so on edge. He was just like, I was waiting for you to I was just so on edge. So I quite like that, having that sort of vibe to it in a way. It shows that it's live, I guess.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great description. And it certainly makes it much more exciting when you feel like things are right on the brink of potentially just like full-on chaos, which I've seen at White Stripe shows. Prince is a rocker. You never know what he's going to do, and he's amazing. But for electronic bands, like, I think the experience I've had with that is seeing New Order.
Amazing, exactly.
It seemed like everything could potentially at any given moment completely fall apart. Yeah. And you were on the edge watching it, but it added such an element of excitement.
I think those sort of bands, particularly from the 80s, were a massive influence to me, like Depeche Mode as well. I think you still felt, even though it was a very, watching back at those kind of 80s performances, even though it was a big spectacle and stuff, it still felt like Dave's performance was, slightly on the edge, and anything could kind of go wrong. There was a kind of punkiness to it. And I think, and definitely New Order, I watched so much New Order clips. And yeah, having that element in electronic music, I think is really exciting. I don't like it when it's too sort of formulaic and of course there's a beauty in that, but I like a little bit of chaos for sure.
It helps that you're drumming live. You're a great drummer, and you're singing.
Thank you.
And have a great voice. So you built all this momentum up, and then obviously 2020 has been kind of a write-off. Who knows what 2021 is going to be, but you've had to adjust your plans. Are you still at this point thinking 2021 or whenever you can get out live again, you'll pick up where you left off?
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. I mean, I think like my manager was saying, you know, we in the UK, we only managed to play like 9 or 10 shows in 2020. And, you know, we did some European dates, but it was certainly like definitely cut short. So as soon as we can, yeah, we'll be out there on the road, yeah, taking any opportunity. I think, you know, I feel almost like there's a duty on my hands too, to like supply, as you said, positivity and a kind of a welcomeness to people who have been working throughout this whole year and people's lives really affected. It's like now the artist's sort of time to create a bit of happiness and joy. So as soon as I can, yeah, I'm straight back out there for sure.
People need music. They need connection more than ever right now. And certainly they're feeling it through just even hearing your songs on the radio.
Oh, well, it's really nice, yeah.
Since we're talking about dancing, let's go into About Work, the Dance Floor from Seeking Thrills, which is just one of the standout tracks on the record. Anything you want to say about it before we go into the performance?
Well, I mean, this was a real turning point on writing this song for the record. I think once I wrote this song, the rest of Seeking Thrills just became quite easy in the direction. And yeah, it was one of those moments for sure where me and Mark, who helped me do the album, we kind of were proud of this one. And we knew that it would connect with people because it's just got those classic elements of a kind of dance pop song that just, yeah, I wanted people to put on headphones and just be transported to a different world with this song. So hopefully it's okay live. Yeah.
It works. All right. It's Georgia live on KEXP at home.
Here we go again.
It's Georgia live on KEXP at home with Ultimate Sailor and About Work the Dance Floor, two songs from 2020's Seeking Thrills. Man, so good. And it's cool to get a glimpse into your studio. Now, you seem so self-contained in that space. Was 2020, have you been able to get creative and work on new music this past year?
Yeah, I mean, that's all I've been doing, really. I was fortunate enough to have this studio. So, I was, as I said before, I was on tour for about a year and a half previously to putting Seeking Thrills out. So I'd kind of reached this point where I'd been on the road for so long. And although it was, devastating to have it cut short, I also just completely enjoyed getting back into the studio and setting up all the synths and like getting my workstation back together. And so I've been, really enjoying and actually have been really strangely creative. I felt really like inspired, and which is odd given that we've been in this quite strange, surreal world for a bit. But I've really kind of enjoyed getting into the studio and writing new songs.
Yeah, in looking at the space before I knew it was your studio, and I figured it was, I just thought, man, what a cool space to work in. And you could easily lose yourself in that space, and you really play all the instruments yourself. So, you could really get lost there.
I've got a lot of synths now. I'm a bit of a synth collector, and in fact, all the synths on Seeking Thrills are all original analog played synths. A lot of the equipment is all 80s as well. I really love kind of the 80s period of outboard gear, and especially the late 80s crossing over to the early 90s when digital kind of met analog with synth. So I'm a big fan of outboard gear. So that studio there's a lot of equipment in there, which is really amazing to have. I'm very lucky to.
And the Simmons drum kit sounds incredible.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's crazy what happened to this. I mean, they're just so hard to find, and they were so readily available. But the story was that every drummer I've spoken to that had a Simmons kit either got rid of it or threw it out or gave it to somebody they knew, and they had lost it. And people didn't want the pads. People thought the pads were quite uncool. People just wanted the modules, whereas I'm different. I want the pads. And the modules are amazing, don't get me wrong, but the pads I just love them. And I actually, through the whole process, it was really sweet. I got in contact with Simmons himself, and he's a good friend of my agent's dad. So we got in contact with him, and it was really sweet to just hear the whole story. And he was really humbled that I was playing the Simmons again. He kind of saw it on, I think, Jules Holland over here. I played a TV show, and he saw it, and he sent us a little message, which was really sweet. So yeah, I love them. I've got far too many Simmons now.
So you've been able to some extent, make the best of the situation and work on new material. Does that mean there's material for an upcoming album?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell at the moment, but it definitely feels like I've got a workflow that seems to be, going pretty fast, and songs that I'm hopefully, that it would seem it's going that way for sure.
To what extent do collaborations or producing other artists interest you? Like in 2020, you were featured on a Muramasa song and the Gorillaz track. There's a new song from Roan, Waves of Devotion, that's out about a month ago that's really amazing. Do you see more of that? Is that something that interests you as well as producing?
Yeah, 100%. I didn't before. I guess I didn't have the confidence enough to think that people would want to collaborate with me, in all honesty. I felt like I was just so in my own little world. But the Muramasa collaboration, Alex, it was kind of a real turning point for that. And he was, fed me with a lot of confidence, and it was such a lovely, incredible journey we went from writing that song, that I just felt like this is a beneficial process actually, and I should be a bit more open-minded. And then when the Gorillaz call came in, that was just like a dream come true, really. And the Roan collaboration was really fantastic as well. So it's definitely something that I love to do, and I think it has to be right, and it has to be organic. And but I've been very lucky thus far that I've had, they've been really fantastic. And producing is something that I just definitely want to go into, and there's lots of exciting things on the horizon. So that's just something that I see as a future as well. Yeah.
Great. Well, we can't wait for more of your music. More collaborations, more production, and for you to be able to hit the road when that time comes.
Well, thanks very much, Kevin. I know, I just so want to play America, like all over America. I'm such a big fan of American music. It's crazy. I'm just definitely, it's something that hopefully once all this gets sorted out, I'll be there. I'll be in America.
Well, we can't wait. The KEXP community loves you, so we're looking forward to when we can all connect live in the same space together.
Thank you so much. That means, and I'm a massive fan of KEXP. I remember watching Grimes's session and thinking that's really cool, and I think you guys have such a great platform, and you play such a great array of music. So that really means the world that you have welcomed me into your family.
Cool. For anybody watching right now that hasn't seen that Grimes performance, go check it out. It's incredible.
Okay.
Grimes just sits on the floor, the equipment's all laid out, and it really sort of it demystifies the creative process, I think, for her. You just watch her creating a song.
It was really unique when it came out. It just it definitely all over London, all the scene that I was in, because I was in a scene sort of very associated with Grimes at the time. I was playing for an artist who was on Young Turks, and it just sort of spread around all of us, and it was just like a really wicked performance. And definitely it was just great the way it was filmed. It was so raw, and I think it was very ahead of its time, you guys presenting artists like that. It was really cool. There wasn't many people doing that. So I remember thinking one day I definitely want to do, hopefully one day.
Well, thanks for doing this, and thanks for doing such a great job producing and recording this session. It's a real treat.
Oh, thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Can't wait to have you in this room here too when we can all get together again.
Yeah, I look forward to it. I really do, honestly.
It's Georgia live on KEXP at home, and I have to pay my parking now, apparently. Thank you.
Go.
It was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. That was great. That was brilliant.
Discover new music at kexp.org.